Skin the Hardaway Sudden T back with another EP. And I see y'all already got somebody in the building. Y'all do your boy favor when y'all roll on in. Hit that like button. Hit that like button for your boy. This Sudden T right here, this Sudden T is two things, you know what I mean? This is you know, breaking news. I just didn't put breaking news on this, you know what I mean? This is no breaking news, however you want to take it. Sources, I got my sources, I got sources, that tell me that Canelo Alvarez gate did under, $10 million. You know what I mean? So under $10 million, I'm gonna be generous about it. Under, yeah, okay, cool, man. So yeah, under $10 million. What's good, MP? What the fuck? Shout out my guy, MP. What the fuck? Appreciate you sliding through this, junk, MP. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy, Canelo. What's good? Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Glad you can make it, pimp. But yeah, I got my sources, and my sources told me that Canelo gate did under $10 million. Now, understand, I'm a fair guy, so I gave him $9 million. A $9 to $10 million gate is nothing to sneeze at. That's one hell of a gate. You know what I mean? That's nothing to sneeze at. That is a good gate. That's around what Canelo, always done. Around what he always do. And the beautiful thing about the gates is that you can't fake that gate number. You can't fluff that that gate number. That pay-per-view number, it is what it is. You could take it, from your source. You could take it from a source where you want to believe. You got this number, you got that number. You round it. You got one guy say this, one guy say that. You know what I mean? A lot of people say a lot of different things. So even if you don't, what's good? Shout out my guy G5. Appreciate you sliding through this, my brother G5. And I am my brother's keeper. What's good, G5? My brother Just Do. Appreciate you sliding through this junk, Just Do. And I am my brother's keeper. What's good, Just Do? Appreciate y'all sliding through this junk. Calvinello is always the best name on YouTube. But yeah, so when it comes to that pay-per-view number, you can take it with a grain of salt or whatnot. Cool. I don't blame you right there. But the beautiful thing about that gate is that you can't fake that gate. That gate is a definite thing. We go know that gate number because they go take tally in that stadium to find out exactly who came. So, this is first news. First news I got was under 10 million. And that's believable. That's about what Canelo Alvarez do. That's about what he does. You know what I mean? But Earl Spence had a fight in Dallas, William Daniels Ugas, and the gate did 30 million. So you know what? I'm not gonna be petty about it. But I remember another event when Earl Spence fought Danny Garcia and Canelo Alvarez fought Yadir, if I'm not mistaken. Canelo Alvarez, did about $8 million gate or something, and then Earl Spence did a $9 million gate or something like that. So this is not the first time that Earl Spence outdid Canelo Alvarez with a gate. Now again, you could say pay-per-view this, pay-per-view that, and all that good stuff. Now let's just say for a second that we don't know what those pay-per-view numbers are, but that gate you can't lie. And for this to be Earl Spence's second time, doing a bigger gate than Canelo Alvarez, and the first time, it wasn't by a wide margin, but he did do a bigger gate. And then for him to come back with this gate, you know what I mean, at 30 million, and Canelo, under 10 million, let's give him 10 million. Let's just say 10 million, for him to do $20 million more, in the gate, it just posed the question for me. We just had Canelo versus Dimitri Bivol, right, folks? We just had that. And the build up to that fight was really underwhelming. You know what I mean? It was real underwhelming to be a Canelo fight. Now the aftermath, was blockbuster. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy OTB. Appreciate you sliding through this, John OTB. Glad you can make it, pimp. Can y'all do your boy a favor when y'all roll on in? Can y'all hit that like button for your boy when y'all roll on in? I got 12 people in the building. Can I get all 12 of y'all to hit that like button for your boy? You know what I mean? But we just had to fight with Canelo Alvarez and Bivol. The build up to it, was average. It was a dud, really. You know what I mean? But the aftermath was blockbuster. So just the feel around this Canelo Alvarez fight was different from the other Canelo Alvarez fights. You know what I mean? So I'm just posing the question. I'm taking Earl Spence last gate, Canelo Alvarez, last gate, which was right after each other, you know what I mean? Not too far after each other. We had Earl Spence, we had Oscar Valdez, then we had Canelo Alvarez, you know what I mean? So I'm just posing a question, like just using the gate numbers, you know what I mean? Yeah, it is, Alex. It is, Alex, which is why I asked y'all. I'm asking y'all, you know what I mean? I'm asking y'all what y'all feel about it. Shout out to my guy Alex Alberto G. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Alex. Glad you could make it. He said it's such a broad statement. Think 5 or 6 different active boxes as the face of boxing. I like that outlook of it, Alex. You know what I mean? I'm just, this is a question, to the people. More so a question, for the face of boxing people, which is why I put it in, parentheses. This is not a term that I invented, just a term, that I've heard. But, if I'm doing gate alone, definite numbers, as of lately, the face of boxing, short is, the most popular, boxer in the sport, the number one boxer in the sport who put the most asses in the seats. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking, when people say face of boxing. That was my understanding of it, when people bring it to me. You know what I mean? Shout out my guy, Bruce Gas. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Bruce Gas. Glad you can make it, pimp. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy, Hustler Holmes. Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Glad you can make it. Glad you can make it, pimp. You know what I mean? So, I got word, Canelo did a $9 million gate. Earl Spence did a $30 million gate. I'm posing the question that, it's a new face of boxing. You know what I mean? And Earl Spence actually said this himself, not too long ago. I'm not sure, who who asked him this, but somebody asked him, something about Canelo Alvarez being the face of boxing. And Earl Spence, said himself, he said, before too long, I'll be the new face of boxing. You know what I mean? And if we looking at the most recent fights right now, Canelo Alvarez pay-per-view numbers haven't came out. I haven't got word on the pay-per-view number yet at all, but I have gotten word on the gate number, you know what I mean? But I haven't got word on the pay-per-view number, you know what I mean? But the pay-per-view numbers haven't came out at all, but the gate numbers have came out. And the gate numbers, are more definite than, the pay-per-view numbers. Not saying that the pay-per-view numbers is not real or nothing like that. Shout out my guy, Uncommentary. Appreciate you sliding through this joint. Glad you can make it, my G. Glad you can make it. Shout out my guy, Uncommentary. Appreciate you coming through this joint. And while Willis was good, pimp. Glad y'all can make it. But yeah, the gate numbers are more, accurate, are more definite, than the pay-per-view number. Sometimes, especially like on the zone, when they have fights over in the UK, they don't even have to give you, a definite number because they don't keep, track of it. Eddie Hearn can say that the pay-per-views did whatever he want to when they, fight in England. But you notice when the zone fight in America, he more quiet about what the pay-per-view did. Let's just use, AJ, for example. When AJ fight in the UK, he tell you it sold this many, it sold that many, he sold out there, he sold out that. But when he fight in America, you don't hear too much about it. When the zone in general put on events in America, you don't hear too much about, the numbers from the pay-per-view now, because in America, you can't fluff or you can't lie about how many pay-per-views you do. So you don't hear too much about it. You know what I mean? So I'm still waiting, I'm waiting on the Canelo, stuff, the pay-per-view stuff, to start to, fall out and everything. But, the gate numbers normally do come out before the pay-per-view numbers because, it's more short of a number. So the gate numbers, the first, from my sources, the first thing that I heard from, from the first source, from when I say the first source, I mean, this the first news that I got, from my first source told me that it did under 10 million. So I'm gonna say about 10 million. I'm gonna say it did 10 million, compared to Earl Spence 30 million. So I'm just, posing the question. What's good? Shout out my guy Freddie Jimenez. Appreciate you sliding through this, John Freddie. Glad you can make it, Freddie. Shout out my guy Freddie. Shout out my guy Yoda Wise. Appreciate you sliding through this, John. My co-host Yoda Wise, King. Appreciate you sliding through this, John. Hey, Yoda, I'm doing the Southern Tea after I get off here. A little later that you gonna like about Jerome Booth Innocent, something he said about Earl Spence, Bud, something he also said about Conor Ben, and who was the other person? Somebody Conor Ben and Keith Thurman, and somebody else, Speedy Rashida Ellis, what I mean, that I like, But he was like, but yeah, I'm just posing the question. I'm just trying to pose the question. Shit, this is not a term that I made up, but shit, is there a new face of boxing? The face of boxing is who put the most butts in the seats, right? Just on from simplest terms. From simplest terms, that's what I think when I hear face. Oh, he the face of boxing. I mean, he's the number one, ticket seller. He's the one that make shit go. You know what I mean? As far as boxing go, that's what I think of when I think of face of boxing. But that's all I got. I just wanted to drop that, drop that little spigot on y'all and give y'all something to think about when I drop that spigot. Canelo Alvarez did about 9 to 10 million. His gate under 10 million. I gave him 9 million being generous. We'll say 10 million. Earl Spence gate did 32 million actually, or something like that, 34 million, 32 million, something like that. Type deal, but I just want to drop that little speaker. My guy said, Alex, I feel like Earl needs more visibility to truly become the face of boxing. For example, commercials, guest spots, TV shows, as a step, pop/mainstream culture. Canelo already has that. I'm not really sure where I guess I say Canelo in a couple commercials, here and there, not too many. You know what I mean? I get what you're saying, but Alex, surprisingly, you'll be surprised how many people really don't know, Canelo Alvarez. And the thing about the two is Earl, put more butts and more seats, and Earl don't even be in front of the camera like that. So I can only imagine if Earl actually was, getting his just due as far as the mainstream media go, and not just, the people in the heartbeat of boxing and shit like that. You know what I mean? Just to give you something to think about. $9 million gate, $30 million gate, $8 million gate to a $9 million gate. This shit is getting more consistent that Earl Spence is doing bigger gates than the quote unquote, face of boxing. But that's all I got. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future, but this the present. Make sure y'all tune in for my Jerome Boost in this video. I'm finna slide that junk on in there for my guy Just Do. Hop in. Make sure y'all slide on through because we gonna talk about this. I like what Jerome Boost in is saying. I like the energy he's speaking. And I'm gonna tell y'all what I think about exactly what he's saying. He talking about our favorite fighters. Understand this Boost dude is coming to beat up our favorite fighters. But I like his energy about it. I'm gonna hit up with y'all. Y'all meet me over there because this is gonna be a group discussion on this next Southern T. This is an informational T. The next one gonna be a group discussion. Make sure y'all slide on through. Appreciate you sliding through this junk. Facts, but that's all I got. Skin the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past, this ain't the future, but this the present. That's how we rocking, and I'm out. Love.